It's my birthday, and I cry if I want to, cry if I want to, get high if I want to, take a little smoke on your birthday. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I said take a little puff on your solar return. So I would like to get some wisdom, some guidance for my 39th solar return. What wisdom do you have for me? What guidance do you have for me today? Gratitude. Yes, it's the ending of Cancer season. So I usher out the ending of Cancer season. Few things I want to talk about right now. The first thing, let's get a vote, a consensus, if you will. Was the assassination attempt, was that real or fake? Gratitude. Let me put solar return vibes. Was the assassination attempt real or a figgity fake? Figgity fake. I think this is going to be something that's like debated, throughout time for a long time, So the other thing that I want to talk about is, I'm not sure if I'm tripping, but I could have swore that Richard Simmons passed away a long time ago, but apparently Richard Simmons passed away July the 13th of this year. So the question is, are we witnessing a real life Mandela effect take place? Because is anybody else in the room, you don't even know who that is. It's mainly for millennials. Richard Simmons was, I think I'm saying his name right, Gene Simmons, Richard Simmons. Yeah, Richard Simmons. It was the guy, the workout guy who wore the headband. And I think there was a Mandela effect about if he wore the headband or not. It was the same day of the assassination. Really? July the 13th. Somebody look at the CERN schedule for that day, because the first, intuitively, when I saw the whole the Trump assassination attempt thing, the first thing that came to mind when I saw the whole photo op was, first let me show you this photo. 1 second. The first thing that came to mind, okay, so first, just imagine how this moment in history, this would be in history books, forever, right? And this photo op is just, I guess you can call synchronistic or perfect timing, right? Now, the first thing that came to mind when I saw this was time travel, okay? Now, think about who Donald Trump's uncle is. Donald Trump's uncle is John Trump. John Trump was part of the team that raided Nikola Tesla's lab, right? Or his hotel, the Knickerbocker in New York, and they got all of his patents. So his uncle, John Trump, was aware of the time traveling, right? And Nikola Tesla helped them to do the Philadelphia experiment, okay? Now, there's a book out about, hey, wait a minute. It's like one mind. It's like one mind. There's a book out about Barron Trump, okay? And how Barron Trump, I haven't read the book, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they say like Barron Trump becomes president, or it has something to do with time travel. Now, has anybody noticed like the soft rollout that they're doing for Barron Trump, right? Now, let me see if I can find you this other photo. Now, when I saw this photo, I was like, wait a minute. What's happening here? So take a look at this photo. Why is he smiling? Why is he smiling in this photo? So, I mean, you make your own assessment on that. So the first thing that came to mind was time travel, okay? Now, it seems as though there is some information available to people in a certain upper echelon, right? And y'all have to forgive me for speaking a little extra slow today. It's my solar return, and I'm stoned. All right, perfect, cool. Okay, so where was I? Yeah. So you would have to be like connected to somebody in the upper echelon or like DARPA to be able to create your own history in the way that this man is doing, right? Now, it seems as though there's a possibility that we won't have an election. I know that seems hard to believe because this would be like the first time in history, but according to the stars, y'all have to remember Pluto is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, okay? And when Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn, that can mean... Okay, first, before I say this, do y'all remember the... I put out a video not so long ago after the eclipse about the king's curse, or like the death of a king, and it's like within a 6-month period of the eclipse. And I said like the person who would be taken out would be somebody with like, Scorpio, like heavy Scorpio energy in their chart. Now, has anybody noticed what's happening with Biden? Right. So, yeah, you can intuitively figure out the rest. So, what do you all believe is about to happen? Right? Now, if, let's just say like the assassination attempt was real and somebody tried it again. Now, there are no candidates for president. And let's say like Kamala Harris steps up or something for president, and some type of war breaks out, so it like locks her in that position. Or maybe not. Maybe they won't see her fit because remember that I think it's the Democratic Party, or they have some electoral governing faction that can replace the president if he steps down, like I guess Biden just did. So now, of course, this topic is definitely like rooted in third dimensional things, but this is something that directly affects your avatar. So I believe it's something important to pay attention to, but not like get, you know, let it take up too much of your attention. Just be aware of like what's happening, because I truly believe we're going to witness something this year that we have never seen before. Because first of all, nobody breathing has ever witnessed Pluto retrograding in Aquarius, or Pluto in Aquarius, let alone Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. So this is the first time every single person alive in this current incarnation has ever seen Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so when it retrogrades in Aquarius, and when it goes back into Capricorn, that's when it's most likely going to take out a political leader or president at the 29th degree. Now, side note, let me give you 3 things to expect with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. You might be feeling disconnected from people. You might be feeling disconnected from people in general. Like if you have like a group, a tribe, whatever that you normally hang out with, you might be feeling disconnection from them, because Pluto is rebirth. Pluto is, excuse me, Pluto is rebirth. Pluto is, can also mean like mysterious, like hiding, secretive. So you might not want to, and Aquarius represents like groups, tribes, networking, socializing. Okay, so when you put those 2 things together, but you have it in a retrograde motion, what you have is the need to like kind of hide away, feel secretive, like be mysterious from the people that you usually associate with. Right? And with Saturn retrograding in Pisces, a few things are happening with Saturn retrograding in Pisces. If you're somebody who usually has boundaries, those boundaries now become more mutable, because Saturn is Capricorn. Capricorn is cardinal, right? Pisces, cardinal fixed mutable, is a mutable sign. Right? So when you have Saturn in Pisces retrograding, if you normally have strong boundaries, those boundaries now become like, I can do it tomorrow. Your discipline starts to slip. Also, this brings up the notion of karma and wanting to close out cycles, because Pisces represents the ending of cycles, right? And Saturn represents limitations. So when you have limitations on the end of cycles, you can't start new things until you close out the things that are holding you back from getting to your new level, right? That's Saturn retrograded in Pisces. Anyway, these are just a few things I wanted to give you all today. Yeah, these are some serious alignments right now, right? These are some serious alignments. I think that more people should pay attention to them and start to pay attention to your chart, because you need to know why you are feeling the way you are feeling, instead of just letting the feelings come and you not having an answer for them. Because when feelings arise, that's a call. It's a call for action. The action is for you to find out what that feeling is calling you to do. And one of the best ways to do that is knowing thyself. How do you know thyself? By knowing your natal chart, because your natal chart is the whole of you. That's an ancient wisdom, right? That's an ancient wisdom. Like I say it all the time, one thing you need to know is that when people meet you, they don't meet your sun sign. So you know how, and if you're born in, let's say, July the 5th, you're a Cancer. When people meet you, they're not meeting a Cancer. They're meeting whatever your rising sign is, right? So these are, even if you somebody who is not heavily into astrology rules everything. And you have to know that marketing, major events, baking, like everything, major deaths, like anything that happens on the world stage is orchestrated by astrology, right? So, I mean, for example, like I can pull up the chart for July the 13th at the time that event happened, and I can explain from an astrological perspective of what happened and why it happened by looking at Donald Trump's chart. Matter of fact, we looked at Donald Trump's chart a few months ago over on Patreon, and we literally said assassination attempts. I'll give somebody $5 so they can find the live where I was talking about the assassination attempt with Donald Trump, because you can see these things through the chart. Or I'll give you $10. You can find these things like through the chart, right? Before I get out of here, what are some questions you all have about astrology? Hey, I appreciate you. I should did like some specials on my natal chart readings today, but maybe I'll have some specials next week. I have a few readings to finish up right now. But yeah, I say, man, like look into your chart, and if you need an astrologer that you can trust, like I have a few people I can link you up with beside myself. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Hey, big solar return vibes. What's the first thing I should look into to learn astrology? I would say simple is easy. So your rising sign, learn all about your rising sign so you can know about your personality. Your rising, like the first thing I ask somebody is the rising sign. Because if I know your rising sign, I know your entire chart in my head, at least the sign placements. And if I know your sun sign, then I can start to place your chart in my head. So rising signs are really important. So I would say look into that first. For example, if I know you're Scorpio rising, then I know you have Leo in your 10th house. Right? Yeah, of course. Any other questions before I get out of here? What can you tell us about the 29th degree? The 29th degree is a Leo degree. The 29th degree is, a lot of people call it a special degree because it's, in astrology, we don't go to the 30th degree. It goes from 0 to 29. So 29 is a crossover point. It's the point of wisdom. If you have somebody who has the 29th degree in their chart, that means they have learned everything they could about that energy. So if you have your sun at the 29th degree, you are about to graduate from that energy. And on the other, side of that, if you have your sun at the 0 degree, you're brand new to that energy. All right. This goes for your sun, your moon as well. 29th degree is very important. But also the 18th degree, the 20th degree, the 8th degree, the 22nd degree. Every degree has a special purpose. Like numerology runs astrology. That's why I study them both. Right? Like, for example, side note, your name has a numerological meaning. It has you can break it down in numerology, and your name carries an energy. Sorry, y'all, I'm stoned, so forgive me. Your name carries an energy. So when you switch your name, you can switch the energy in your life. It's so important. That's why I go by Astro. Venus at the 29th degree. Hey, all right now. Y'all, I have such a deep passion for reading people's charts, because every time I read somebody's chart, I can see the symphony of their life, and I can see myself in a point in their chart as helping them. Even saying this right now, I'm getting goosebumps, because it's developing this thing where you help souls on their journey is so sacred. That's why we do natal chart classes over on Patreon, and we take them seriously. Good question about the empty houses. Let me go back to that question. Empty houses. Do empty houses have a significance? Okay, so if you have an empty house in your chart, That just means you don't have any luminaries concentrating any specific energy there. For example, if like Mars is in a house, then you have Mars initiating things in that house, like whatever the house is. If you have Mars in the 7th house, then you are the person to always shoot your shot. On the other end of that, that means you can also have an abusive spouse, right? If you don't have anything in your 7th house, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have any type of significance in relationships, because 7th house rules relationships. That just means that you have to look at the Lord of the house, right? So if it's Cancer, you find the moon. If it's Sagittarius, you find Jupiter. That's all. You just have to find the Lord of that house, right? Who you got to pay rent to. Hey, blessings, Jamie. I appreciate it. Yeah, so these are some really good questions, y'all. These are some really good questions. Empty houses is probably the question that I get the most, besides relationships. You know, how do I find my divine partner? You look for your Juno. Y'all, Juno is so underrated. If you truly want to find your divine partner and even pinpoint the location where you would want to find them, you look for your Juno line or your Juno point in your chart. In your chart, right? Like, if your Juno is in your 9th house, you can meet your partner in school, in church, right? Anywhere where you would go to dive deep into higher learning. If you have your Juno, let's say, in the 4th house, you can meet your partner by being introduced to them through your family. They might even deliver something to your home. They might do work on your home, depending on the connections to Juno. How do I get a chart reading? You go to astro5d.com and you click on natal chart analysis. But sign up for the mailing list so you can get a discount code first. So that way, you know, you can save some money. What is a Juno point? Juno is divine partnership. Juno is also how you act in a relationship, your relationship style. That's Juno. Just like how Venus is your love language, Juno is your relationship style. It's your love languages, you know, in relationships, where Venus can symbolize your love language for everybody, right? Like friends, everything. Blessings. Lily, family, I appreciate you. How can you find your Juno? You go to astro.com, look at your chart, and go to extended chart selection, and then you click on Juno, and then that's how you can find where your Juno is. Or you can connect with one of the 5D readers, and maybe, you know, if you cash out them a few bucks, they can help you find your Juno or something. Or I can also do that, you know. I'm going to add some more options to my site, you know, just for people who are curious about certain things. What else is important? Man, I said I was only going to be on this live for like 20 minutes. All right, so any other questions before we get... Emily, good to see you, Emily. Hope you're blessed over there in New York. What else is important? I'm trying to give y'all things that you don't normally hear about your natal chart. Juno. Also, you can look at Ceres. Ceres is, okay, vertex. So Jamie said vertex. Vertex is important because do you ever wonder, like, why you keep running into a certain type of person, or like why it feels like sometimes you are led to certain people, and like these people have messages for you, and those messages are tied to your fate. Okay, that's vertex. for example, if you have vertex in your 8th house, and like let's say you have vertex in your 8th house, and then you might have people who lead you to stages of rebirth, right? Like, these are people who come into your life that can trigger you, right? And then they send you down, like, I don't want to say a spiral, but like just a stage where you have to get to relearn yourself again, a stage of rebirth. That's vertex in the 8th house. Also, vertex in the 8th house can mean that you don't have a hard time, engaging in coitus. Okay, vertex in the 2nd house means that you always are aligned with people who can lead you to spaces where you can increase your income. This also means that you have people appear in your life to help you to relearn what your values are. So vertex is just like a point. It's not like a planet or anything. It's like an astrological like point that lets you know like you're going to have these type of meetings, and these meetings are tied to fate. Now, some vertex cheat codes: if you have vertex connected to your or conjuncted to your north node, nah, bro, I would think you are source itself. If you have vertex connected to your part of fortune, get out of here. Get out of here. Who are you? If you have vertex connected to your midheaven, ooh, that's a good one, because your teachers will just always appear out of thin air everywhere. And you will always be led to spaces where you can increase your status quo, like your public, image. These are fun, man. These are fun. Astrology is just something I'm in love with, Same person, different face. Ooh, yo, that's a bar. Same person, different face. Shit, that's deep as hell. Yeah. A lot of people, see, you ever run into somebody who you swear that you know them, but you've never seen them in this life before? It's that same person, different face, because if we are all the equivalents, or not equivalent, but we are all the makeup of our DNA code, then your DNA code, it just picks up and records new experiences from each life, right? So when you go into your next life, if you still have the same experiences, the added modifications will alter your avatar just a bit, but you're going to look the same, so people are going to realize your avatar. And that's why you notice the same people in different lives, but you can't remember them, because to the age of 7, you're in theta stage, which means you are in hypnosis, forgetting everything from your past life. So you are literally fighting to remember who you are into the age of 7. And if you didn't know, now you know. Babies are hypnotized into the age of 7. That's why nursery rhymes. You ever think about that? Why are nursery rhymes introduced to babies, and they all have a certain frequency? When you get a chance, go listen to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, all of these songs, and then break them down from a music standpoint, a music perspective. Look at the frequency, the scales, everything, and look at the notes. Why is this in C sharp? And then you see what these tones do to babies and their mental. And then you will see why certain nursery rhymes are the way they are. Hypnosis. Also, one more thing before I go. Since I don't have any children yet, I don't know if I am, because I don't know if that's meant for me in this life. But if you do have children, and let's say they're young, and one thing you want to know about them, or that's not one thing, but if you want to know about them and where they're going to go in life, look at their natal chart. I say all the time, man, when your child is born, do a natal chart reading within the first 30 days, for real. If you can handle what you're going to see, because sometimes you might see something that you might not want to see, and then you might have a hero complex and think you can save your child. But if you see it in their chart that they might leave at a certain age, it's like the show Supercell, but without powers, right? Can you alter fate? That's why natal charts are tricky. Anyway, any other questions before I get out of here and enjoy this solar return? I really just wanted this. I thought last night, I said, I want to be intentional for this next year. I'm going to give myself a solar return reading today, but I wanted to be intentional and open up my solar return with y'all. Come on live, spend, a few minutes with y'all. And they say the way you start your new year is how you're going to spend your new year. So since this is my personal new year, and if I'm starting it off with y'all, then who knows? Let's see if we can stay consistent throughout the year of doing these lives. Admittedly, life has been life, and so I haven't been able to post and get on live as much as I wanted to. But yeah, let's see if we can do that. Think that would be cool. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. And if you want to, dive deeper, you can come and join the Patreon for free as a free member. And get some extra posts that you won't see on IG or, anywhere else. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for spending some time with me today. I will see y'all next time. Peace.